Hey, welcome to X3, One Topic, Three Pundits. I'm your host, John C. Dvorak. I'm here with Andrew Eisner and Joe Engo. And it looks like the Sony breach, that is the situation that occurred, I guess it was about a week or so ago, where Sony was hacked and all this data was pulled off. And now apparently
it's getting worse.
It's getting worse. How does it get worse? For example,
they found a whole other system that was compromised. So now the Sony Online Entertainment, which is their like MMO division, which is EverQuest and a couple of other MMOs, all those systems are now offline. All those people that were playing EverQuest, which is not a lot of them, but you know that entire subscriber base, they can't play the game anymore because now all their credit cards were also compromised.
This thing just keeps getting worse and worse. I think it's like a cyber oil spill. I mean,
is
it's
it time to fire Howard Stringer?
I think Sir Howard is probably going to have to fall on his sword.
Well, he hasn't done anything. He showed up.
I've always wondered what he's doing.
Big, you know, he fired a bunch of people and it didn't change anything, and Sony's still kind of rudderless ship.
Exactly. I mean, they haven't really had a huge success. I mean, the PlayStation is what it is.
It's hanging on there.
It's hanging on by a thread. The PlayStation's doing really terrible. Their sales are terrible. Gamers just don't want it anymore.
But this is incredible. I mean, the scope of this is just, I mean, it's like, man, it's a big disaster.
You think Sony's done?
They're not done yet, but they're definitely they're heading that direction, yeah.
I know a lot of Japanese companies would like to see them go. I mean, like Panasonic and the competitors in Japan, they never liked Sony because Sony was, you know, they never were big in Japan. They were always big in the United States, and they would lord it over the other companies. And you know, and they had these hot products for a long time. Their engineering is still as good as any I've ever seen.
Did you see the new tablets that they announced? This dual page one?
No.
And the one with the
why would I
back?
see it? Because their public relations sucks. They never get a hold of anybody. It's like the worst public relations I've ever seen. I mean, the company is just a mess. In fact, I remember I wrote a couple of columns complaining bitterly about Sony's, the way they operate. And 99% of the time with any normal company, you would get a call or email or something saying, hey, you know, this was a terrible article you wrote. You think you're all wrong. Can we talk to you? And try, you know, they try to brainwash you. That's what they do. They try to grab you, and then they shake you, and they apply you with liquor and try to convince you that you're wrong. They don't even bother.
I mean, even their customer service and warranty is just terrible. We had a machine that was one of their laptops. We sent it back for repair. 2.5 months later, we had called them about 5 or 6 more times to try to get a status on it, and they still had no status on it. They're like, we don't know what's going on with it. We'll get back to you as soon as we hear something. We're like, this machine's been out for 2.5 months. Like, what do you guys plan on doing about this? Oh, sorry. And that's it. You know, they don't really give any more information about that. No real apology besides, oh, okay. Nothing we could do about it. And that's a terrible way to run a business. I mean, Sony is definitely, they need to really restructure things.
But you know, all the CE companies, a lot of them are having problems. LG just announced a losing quarter. Panasonic is laying off, what, hundreds if not thousands of people. I mean, Samsung is reporting lower earnings. It's some little problems in that.
What do you think this is?
You know, I mean, they just announced that consumers are buying fewer TVs. There are fewer TVs in the households for the first time in 20 years. So I think there's a change.
I don't think you need that many TVs in the house.
It went from like 97% to 96%. It's still totally saturated.
A lot of people are using their computer as a TV,
especially the next generation.
Right, the X or Y or the G or the
right.
M or whatever that generation is.
Speaking of which, I should put in a little plug. I was at a Lenovo event last night. And at Dolby, you went to that Dolby. Isn't that Dolby headquarters is amazing?
Yeah, you've been to watch a movie there. They get the movie.
They have a real 7.1 surround system. It's just
3D.
Gorgeous. I mean, and so they announced a deal with Dolby. So they're trying to beef up the sound in their new laptops. We put Dolby Home Theater 4.
This is funny you say this because everybody that I've talked to in fact, I just had a meeting with AMD. They were showing off some stuff. You know, there's some of their chips, and they were showing one of these. They were talking about how they're working on with HP and some other companies, trying to get little laptops to sound like big stereos. And I first thing I said to them, of course, was I first heard this probably in '95. Supposedly JBL or some of these companies were working with these laptop companies to get big sound from the keyboard somehow. And so this has been going on forever, and no one's done it.
Well, the demo, you're right. Only so much you can get out of tiny speakers and out of the
speakers are
audio
this big, they're
circuitry.
the size
You're
of
not
like
gonna
a
have
marble.
Also, the
amplifier
audio
there, but,
processing in general.
exactly.
I mean, anytime you go out to a club, you're not going to see a Dell behind there.
Yeah.
You're going to see a Mac. On every single club you go to, there's going to be at least 2 Macs sitting behind there.
Yeah.
And Macs are very superior when it
Yeah,
comes to
but
sound
I
processing.
I think those days are over. That's
Oh, I disagree with
questionable.
that.
That is very questionable.
But anyway, Lenovo did one other. I showed it another. They showed us a NDA product, but they also showed get this for a differentiator. They now can boot a laptop computer in like under 10 seconds. So they work with all
From scratch?
They work with all
Well, this is not really new.
They
They've
work
had this
with
for 10
the
years.
component vendors and the hardware and the software
10
guys
seconds is
to
not bad.
optimize it so that you push that button and you're up and running
Until the
in 10
first
10
update
seconds.
on Tuesday. The thing will take an hour to boot after that. So this is bull crap too. So what did you get out of this Lenovo thing? I know they have these cards, which has a.
That's the state of the that's the
USB.
new state
Check this out.
of press releases.
It's like you put your press release in
Isn't that cute?
in this things here, and then you put it in your wallet, and
Right
it
above the
cracks.
Made in
It'll
China.
break.
Right above the Made in China sticker.
Yeah, right. The Made in China sticker on the back.
Yeah, nice folks at Lenovo. They got some good products. They got new stuff coming out. This Sandy Bridge laptops are starting to roll out. I think it's going to be some cool stuff.
I've always liked I thought Lenovo actually has a pretty good take on design, but I think their marketing.
Well, I think they're still riding on that whole IBM.
Well,
enterprise,
when they bought, I disagree with that because when they first bought, I remember the day, kind of the week they bought IBM and the ThinkPad. Then they were in some trade show around here, and I looked at their stuff that they had, and I thought it was well designed. They had good looking phones and some really cool looking all kinds of products.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, I think when they took the ThinkPad, I think they kind of funked it up a little bit with. Put a lot of holes. They had one that had holes all over it.
Yeah.
This laptop, I looked at the back of it. It's just a million holes. And somebody,
It's
I
for
said,
drainage, actually.
yeah, that's what somebody said.
exactly, yeah.
They said in case you pour a beer on the
spill-proof.
keyboard, it goes right through the and all over your lap, obviously.
Well, they're trying these new features. In fact, here's another feature they added, which was keyboard noise canceling. So if you're Skyping with somebody and you don't want them to hear you typing away, they will suppress the keyboard noise. You can click a little box. Little things like that.
Well, it is interesting.
Good for. I wish them luck.
Yeah, well,
But no.
they
We
didn't
also need
invite
to start
me the
putting
thing.
better microphones on these laptops too.
Yeah. Next time we'll make sure.
No, what do you mean we?
I'll-
You working for Lenovo now?
I'm not, but I know the people there, so we'll get you in.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
You've been watching X3.